Well, there's a development in this county where I live that they are disbanding one of the townships. This county has 3 townships and one big one and 2 small ones on each end. And so this, they're calling a meeting to disband this one township and probably to save money, etc. But they also said that the meeting was going to be about other issues. And I'm pretty sure this has everything to do with what the commandments are of or positions that people are having to take for a number of reasons in the school systems. As one example, you're taking away possibly the disability assistance to the schools. That means the disabled populations, etc., autism and whatever, that the special funding and education for that is being removed. And I think this is a national movement by the president and etc. And their purpose is something to do with getting rid of the terms of inclusion and equity, which symbolically means that they're opting out disabilities or those who are dissident from the basic context that they're using. And the acceptance of these programs is by evidently being widely, it's been circulated that it's being supported by the government, not the government, well, I'm now calling it the 666 group, which is Belgate and Amazonia, Bozo, and Zuckerberg, and the others that were part of the corporate takeover of the government in this last month. And so they're all in support of getting rid of these things. And I also think that because they've taken over the Treasury, that they're investing the funds in the Treasury for their own projects and purposes for the most part, which has all to do with supporting these big 6 or 7 corporations, which were listed as supporting these terminologies of removing the inclusion and equity and disability and other terms that they have for it. So they're changing the language to fit with what they have, and they're changing the availability, and they, of course, they're using the economics to do it. So this is one of the reasons I'm keenly interested in other avenues and doing things that are in a network of unaffiliated conditioning. So then that's they're having a meeting about it at the town here. I don't know if I'll attend but it's certainly come up, and I'm talking with this other person I just met, who I mentioned briefly through, we're messaging about it, and he's very aware, and he knows about the history of the area, even though he's like me, he's from somewhere else. And so I'm moving ahead on that kind of we're moving ahead somewhere on this front, but also kind of preparing. And I've got this idea which has something to do with providing funds or assistance or working with these different persons and their positions, like farmer or mechanic or other kinds of home projects, homesteading, and is a term that we use. We have a homesteaded property and like that. So the reason is I'm thinking that it's all going to be, I could do this, or thinking it could be done all inclusively. That is, that everything that they spend would be part of the whole, and it's the example I've been using is the KINS domain, which is about 2.5 hectare total acreage land that is self-sufficient and also educational and coordinated. But it's not like all the domains, all these different domains are all connected and producing something. It's not a communal context exactly, or at all. And that's important because there's, again, the terminologies that are being allowed. And so there's these other ways of doing things where there's a network of these communities or unities, but they're only connected by their communications. It's not that the farmer is growing farm lettuce for everybody else in their own, in the other domains. All the domains have their own individual operations. This is an interesting idea related to us, new you, in the sense that we are all individuals in our own domain, even you could say our own universe, and we are all stars in that. We are the main star in our universe. We are the one. And we have the opportunities always to develop that wholeness ourselves, and actually, more than likely, a better way of doing it, so that there's no codependence kind of attribute, generally speaking. The codependence is on the all is in that sense only, that we are all part of it. And each one of these could be part of this whole, even the one that I said, well, it'd be cool if I could do this here and get the people into it. I'm really thinking they're not very well equipped to really understand or handle the concept. And so that's where the part of the educational avenue is that we're providing and demonstrating in a certain way here, just with our own communications, and then creating outreach as DUANE has done with Africa, Iran, or wherever, Europe and Asia, etc. I mean, that's the general, and also different areas of the United States, which has, I guess, a side comment about the Americans being really waylaid by all of this media propaganda, so that they don't really get it, or even want to be willing to find out about something different than, let's say, the eckists don't want to find out something through us, be with us. It's spectacular. You call it common ignorance? I mean, really, it's just unbelievable. You can't get people that you've known for 15, 20 years to think that maybe there's something to talk about and understand and possibly much higher level coordination. So that's the one. But I've been working. Have also been making some communications with some of the people I used to know. Again, there's a farm person in Canada. And as one example, that as usual, all the communications for the most part that I've had with them come through myself communicating with them, not the other way around. To get them to communicate outside of their own venue towards me is, somehow not considered. And that would be the case with almost everything I've contacted and every person I've been with here or there or anywhere else. To initiate it and or continue the initiation. Although I wouldn't say that's across the board, but it's pretty huge in terms of that. Yeah, so that's that communication. And I don't know, I call it 7 nations for the fun of it, where there's a set of groups in each one of these areas that are parts of the world that I would say I related to something that had to do with the hiking network in a way, or the naturalist people, which are also part of a generational set that I think I'm with, of these people who in the 60s we grew up and 70s, and we did a lot of natural hiking and exploration, enjoyment of nature. That's what happened around 1970 when the hippie and all that stuff, all that so-called revolutionary stuff of that period, it kind of ended in one way. It was killed. And that's in the sense that all the people who were leaders, let's say in the music industry, left and moved out to the country, like Paul McCartney and the Beatles. John Lennon went to live in New York, but that was a different place, and he wasn't doing his Beatles, all that kind of. But I'm just using examples here. Eric Clapton left the music scene for about 3 years, and a lot of this also was related to the drug practices, and but also like Neil Young in California bought his ranch and so forth, and wrote the songs Music for Harvest and After the Gold Rush, which was about getting kind of free of the system and not letting it take you down, and don't sell out and stuff like that, and don't let it bring you down. So that's that was that movement that's about 60 years now. It's really 50 years on, heading into this 55th to 60th year, so this is a cycle, and now this is a new one that's upon us. So I guess that's enough, Val. This is February 6th. Whoop. The Stargate Earth report. And thanks, Val.
Sherry? I'll bring out a little bit of information about this education system. Up till 1948, the kids went to school 8.5 years. They had a reading equivalent of second year high school. After a certain period of time, they went to school for 12 years, and now they have a reading equivalent of a 6th grader. I think that the world society took a major change in 1964, It's when the birth control pills came out, and the size of the families changed. And I think everything went to hell after that. And it has to do with the birth control. I thought I'd add that in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald, for the viewpoint. Yeah. Good to get all kind of viewpoints here. Thank you very much. Yeah, education. I mean, there's stories that, you know, the kids in the late 1800s, early 1900s were like, you know, they could memorize like books, and they were quite, we would term educated because of the nature of how they were taught and what they were taught, as compared to these days where everybody's being dumbed down, really not really taught anything that's worth any value. So it's a challenge here.
Well, the Chinese found out that their kids were losing their ability to think. And they found out that their iodine that used to be in the soil is gone. And so now they're putting iodine back in their water, and it's bringing up their education. So iodine is very important to the ability to think. Something people should think of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah.